So Salesforce testing. So like we all know that Salesforce CRM is ruling the market when it comes to the cloud-based CRM. So why a testing opportunity with such a software would be an added advantage. So that's would make a mark, and how could you make a mark in your career? So this is what the whole theme of the this meeting would revolve around. So uh, giving you an agenda of what we are going to see in the next 30 to 40 minutes. This is what we're going to see. Introduction to Salesforce CRM for those of you who are not aware of what a CRM is and what Salesforce is. I'll give you a very high level of intro because that itself would take a session. So, and then what would be the Salesforce? What would the Salesforce QA do, and what are his possibilities for making a career? And what would be the role of a Salesforce QA if you want to excel and shine? What and all activities you should be performing on a day to day, and what would be your core strengths, on what areas you should be stronger. So that's one thing that I would like to touch upon because we wanted you to be industry ready. I'm not sure how many of you in this session have already been in the industry, or how many or you are just out of college or looking out for opportunities. But if you're definitely a lateral entry, this would definitely be a shift for you in your career. So yeah. All right. And before I start off the session, I would like the participants to make sure that they can put their questions on the chat window and interrupt me in between whenever possible, so that we don't want it to be like a monologue. I wanted it to be a discussion. So please, Prasan, take care of it, being the moderator and the organizer. So let us make the session as lively as possible.
Yeah, sure, Lakshman. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. So, and getting started. So, this is what we are discussing in the previous slide in the agenda. So, what is CRM? So, majority of you know, like, this is a customer relationship management tool. That's the acronym, but I will not say that. So, it is like the whole system which would take and capture the customer touch points, and based on which decisions are being made, the follow-ups are being made to the customer to enhance the customer experience and ultimately increase the business. Today, everybody, right from a kirana shop owner to multi-level organization, everybody has a CRM on their own, based on the size of their business and based on their needs. So who will not do it? Anybody who is doing it would note down their customer details, and for a follow-up or for a cross-selling or upselling of the product, everybody does this at different levels. So what's more unique with Salesforce? Why cloud-based CRMs are ruling the market? Either you take any number of Freshdesk, Zendesk, any Salesforce, SAP, there are n number of CRMs, and why the cloud-based Microsoft Dynamics? So why Salesforce is ruling the market? Why they are having the most market share, and why they are the buzzword now in the market? Why Salesforce? Why not other tools? Of course, yes, each tool has got their own advantages, and majorly the advantage with Salesforce is that it has got the ability to integrate with different applications, the ease of use, and the support system from Salesforce. And they are without the user bothering about the upgrades to the infrastructure or the platform. They are every year giving 3 releases, which they are taking care of it, giving more time for the users and the business for customization rather than dwelling on the infrastructure and the operational issues, which they should not be concentrating upon. And that's one major reason for Salesforce to have such a huge market share. So just giving you a very high level architecture diagram of how Salesforce is built on. So you get, if you see from the left, you get data from different sources from the social media, and you have already your existing. On to your right, you have backend systems where you have data from different systems coming into Salesforce. And Salesforce has got it stored in the database.com, on which the platform, the force.com, which is a major platform, is being built on. On top of that, you have data.com, where the data accessibility and the uh, how the data is being connected between in is being done. And chatter is nothing but your this thing, the communication channel, the communication channel, the API. And then on top of that, if you see sales, service, marketing, work.com. So marketing, sales, service, there are different clouds for different versions, for different business needs. Sales is used for basically, as the name suggests, it's for the purpose of increasing your sales and keeping track of your business. And service is service cloud comes into play once you have a defined set of customers and you wanted to follow up with them. Marketing is defined for all your marketing needs. We have Pardot, we have Marketing Cloud. In Marketing Cloud, you can perform email marketing, social media marketing, any kind, everything which comes under the marketing comes under the Marketing Cloud. There are plenty of integrations which can be done. The licenses can be bought together as a bundle or as individually. That is a totally separate part. But this is, and what you see as a customer on the top is your front end, and behind this there are so many levels of the platform being built and made it ready for the customer, for the CRM to be accessible at any time and anywhere. So that's one major draw here. And moving on to the next slide. So yes, and as I was saying, what makes Salesforce stand out? So Salesforce stand out because the current customers, around 20% of the market share. Out of the 20%, 93% wanted to continue with the current software with Salesforce. They do not want to switch out their CRM, which itself is a very strong notion that for the kind of business they have in the market. And second thing is the security model which they build. Of course, domains like banking and automobile are slow to move to cloud. But apart from that, different industries have already moved to cloud. They keeping the security concern and the security model in place, considering the security model what Salesforce has provided. They have org-wide security, they have user level security, and they have integration. The When integration is happening, the and the data is passing, how the data cannot be trespassed or being broken into, they have that kind of security as well. So, and next thing, which is a major keyword for Salesforce, is the metadata. Everything and anything in Salesforce is stored in database in the form of metadata. Salesforce basically we call as objects and fields. So I don't want to get more deeper. So that will be a different session. So everything is stored in the form of metadata, which can be retrieved it can be retrieved and modified, and again be there. Either it be a record or the characteristics of an object, or a record, or the raw data itself, or if you say even the complete org backup of all the objects, everything can be retrieved as a metadata. I will dwell into this later if required. And it follows the rapid application development model. And just like our mobile platforms, like for Android, we have App Store, Play Store, and for iOS we have the App Store. Just like that, we have an open ecosystem where apps can be built and hosted on the App Exchange. So once if the CRM users required it, they can download it and integrate as an install package and use it onto their systems and in their orgs to satisfy their business needs. It's an open ecosystem. It is not like they are restricting for that, like everything has to be bought from them and for a price. There are plenty of open apps in the App Exchange which can be bought. Of course, for the ones which really make a mark and which are outstanding, yes, you need to spend money on that. And it's a complete CRM. Why I am saying it is a complete CRM? Let me not just delve into. Let me show you a picture. So like for any organization, for anybody who has got a fair understanding, so I would like you to see this picture. Shall I make it more bigger or is it visible?
It's much better. Thank you.
So like, yeah, once right from the point of sales, so, to the sales, to the service, once the product, before the product is being bought, after the product is being bought, and then to cross selling. So sales, service, marketing, and then you have commerce cloud. the retail cloud, and then you have apps on the app exchange, and then with all the data which you have captured so far, you have analytics, instant analytics, which will do the job for you and predict, which will be a prediction builder. They have plenty of other tools in Einstein which will make sure your business takes on better decisions. And then you have integration. For integration, you have MuleSoft, which is acquired by Salesforce in the previous year, and this takes care of all the integrations between the systems. And then you have employee experience. Employee experience, you have quick surveys and where you get feedback from your employees, like what can be done and how it can be made better. And then you have trailblazer and reskilling. Suppose it has got their own learning platform. Trailhead is their own learning platform, which they've done it. And then they connect your industries with different types of clouds called commerce cloud, health cloud, education cloud, consumer goods cloud. They have specific clouds for each and every industry which is hot in the market. And then they connect with partners using the communities. Salesforce licenses are expensive, so then they use the partner licenses. So, like if I am selling a product, dealerships, I am putting it in very simple terms. They have created community portals for the dealers. That's in Salesforce, it is called as communities. So then we have the Salesforce success community, which is there to help. And this whole thing is called as the customer 360. They put customer, they get the complete cycle, and that is why I have put the word the complete CRM over here. So over to the next slide. So now comes the main part of our discussion. So like Salesforce QA, why? Uh, why does a normal QA wanted to work on Salesforce? How, what advantages or how would it make him stand out? First of all, what does a Salesforce QA work on? The first thing to answer is like he would be working on the CRM. He would be given a license. On depends on the what cloud the company is working on. Either it can be sales, service, or marketing, or whatever. So and he would be also working on the applications either the company has purchased through App Exchange, or the company has integrated with a different application. He would be testing the complete flow. It would be an end-to-end thing. Okay, that is what I put it in the second point. He has option to work on different clouds. Some bigger organizations have got both sales, service, and health clouds and marketing clouds together. So he has the option to work on different clouds and at the same time gain exposure on various domains. Okay, and then so as I said earlier, Salesforce has three new releases in the market. So he needs to make sure now everybody has moved to agile, and in between the releases, you may in between your project releases, you may have the Salesforce release. So you may have to analyze the impact of your new releases before you move the changes to production. Okay, and then you have so you need to analyze the impact of new releases. And the Salesforce definitely, while getting new features, they will also retire some existing features. So the latest buzz in the previous release is that they are going to retire process builders and workflows, which would be the automation tools for the Salesforce admin. So how do they actually replace that? They are replacing it with a particular tool called Flow. So you need to prepare yourself for this thing. So what impact does it make? How will my business get impacted? And what to do? How am I going to plan for the how am I going to plan for the next project release? Will these releases and these retirements and notifications from Salesforce make an impact on me? So will this be a game changer? So you need to think, when the new features are introduced, will they be useful for me? Will they make an impact? Can they make my life easier as a QA or as an admin? So you need to analyze the impact. And then comes, you need to think not just doing a functional testing and saying that yes, you have performed the job and the application is running as expected, because you need to identify the environmental variables which may affect when it goes to production. You need to highlight and work on the security aspects. Security in the sense, as I have spoken before, it cannot be only security at the user level. It can be at the org level, and it can be at an object level or a field level. Okay, and there are other security aspects which come as a separate tab called as health check, which the admins will be taking care of it. And next comes your database, like how is the relationship between the objects, how is this stored, what is, if you would have heard of the master detail relationship, the parent child relationship, let me put it in plain terms. So how these records which created, which how these records which created have an impact, how they would be being displayed in the Salesforce and how they can be retrieved. What impact does this make while retrieving, and to the applications integrated, or to the reports and dashboards which are using these objects. So if there is a cascade delete, how would if delete the, how would it impact the customer? So that, though I'm telling you kind of real world scenarios. And limits, yes, this is another major thing. Salesforce follows the multi-tenancy. So since this application is hosted on the cloud, they will not let any one org or one company take over majority of the resources. So since they are hosted on cloud, so what happens is, imagine, I wanted you to imagine a water tanker on ahead of your rooftop. If you're living in an apartment, 10 apartments in a single building. So if one apartment is using half of the tank and the others are left out only with the other half, that is not a fair that is I'm just giving you an anomaly. That is not a fair division of the resources. So what happens is, 1/10 of the limit of the tank has been demarked, and if a meter has been set up, once he uses that limits, is through a, what do you say, through a gauge or something, the water will be cut off to the apartment. This is the same which Salesforce follows. If you have utilized the number of SOQL queries, or the number of limits, either for the fields on an object, or the number of queries which you are doing to the Salesforce server, it puts a limit on that, and you will get an error. So Salesforce enforces its limits. So as a QA, when you do this, you need to make sure that these limits are not being held on, because in your QA or your sandbox, you may not find these limits, and there will be limits on the number of API calls for 24 hours which are made to a server. So since you are testing in your QA environment, you may not reach those limits. But in production, the number of users are high, the number of business calls and integrations and simultaneous use of different applications are very high. So the probability of you reaching that limit is quite there, if the code is not regulated or if your code is not bulkified. So this is something which you need to keep it on your back of your mind. And next thing, which is the major challenge and most interesting thing, is the integration. So we have integration of different sorts. You can bring in data from a host of applications. You can bring in data through your remote site settings, through different connected apps, and create apps on your own, and then try to integrate and push in data. Like if anybody of you who is familiar with API testing, yes, you can create those auth tokens and everything, and have data come into your system, and even send data across to your system based on your based on the fields or the conditions you have set. So that is one major part. Why Salesforce standouts today is its ability to integrate, is its ability to stand out, and and have data and use the resources so fluently, without any or getting dominating the limits. And next things which, as for a QA, is interesting is the automation. You can use any automation tool, but it's got its own challenges. Salesforce is, as you see from a QA standpoint, is like nothing but one more web-based application. Yes, yes, but it has got its own challenges when it comes to using Selenium with Java or any other tool. Because if you have heard of these IDs not getting captured, yes, there are some unique challenges. So depending on the tool, the challenges are there. And yes, as for any problem, there are workarounds for it. So as any QA, you would be maintaining your regression suite. You would be maintaining your regression suite. You would be maintaining your normal test suite for your releases. So you need to take care of this thing. So Shiva Krishna has raised a hand, and yeah, do we want to hear something from them?
Hi, sorry I missed it. It's Lakshman, right? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Shiva, you're breaking up. I'm sorry. Please tell me.
Okay, can you hear me now? Any better?
Yeah, you're much better. Please.
Okay. Hi, Lakshman.
Yeah.
I have the follow-up question with regarding the challenges. Okay, as you mentioned, there are the challenges, right? Can you just give out or address a couple of challenges, like at least what you faced across, and can you just give out those challenges?
Is it regarding automation or the in general?
With regarding the automation and with regarding the Salesforce as a QA, okay, when we are
Okay.
working as a Salesforce application, I
Okay.
I heard the major challenge is before when we are using Selenium 3, it was
Okay.
Shadow DOM was a major
Yeah.
concern with regarding the Salesforce. Okay,
Okay.
because Salesforce was using Shadow DOM implementation, and
Yeah.
we are not able to
Yeah.
find exact scenarios how to solve that. And
Exactly.
apart from that, including that, if you have any other challenges, if you have
Sure.
addressed already, and if you could have
Yeah.
resolved it, can you give us
Yeah.
those challenges, please?
All right. All right. So one, as I said, the one major challenge with our testing team has faced was the IDs for each and element on the page. You would have IDs. So we were using the Selenium. We are not able to get the IDs dynamically, basically. Huh. So we tried to resolve that with a workaround in the code, which the testing team has taken care of. So yeah, that's one major challenge which I have told. Um, and when it comes to integration, and we what happens is, okay, you wanted it specifically for testing, or even to the integration thing too?
If you can address on as with regarding the QA, that would be really helpful. And if you also have some points to mention with regarding integration, that also will help.
Okay, yeah. All right. So first of all, I will tell up with this thing. So we faced Salesforce suggested browser is Chrome, and majority of our users were even using different versions of browsers. So we faced issues with cross-browser testing. So we had plenty of challenges because the add-ons differ, and because we don't get that. So what happened was we have to raise a flag and suggest them to switch back to Chrome. And we had also problems with synchronizing events. So what happens was the because the people are based out of different time zones. So we had problem with synchronizing the events. So at that point, what we did was to convert the local org this thing into the one singular time zone across the org, so that these tests keep on running. So those are some of the challenges which we have faced.
Thanks.
And regarding to automation and integration, so one thing we have faced was that we have recently integrated with an application called Outreach, which gets the contacts from the outside world, from the business world, and then asks the salespeople to follow. So what happened when we integrated initially was we it was syncing all the data which was there in the database of CRM previously. so that the number of calls, API calls made to and fro the CRM have hit the limits. They were very close. We have got around 4.5 lakh calls, 450,000 calls per day as the limit. And then what happened was we hit the limit. We are about to hit the limit, and then we tried to analyze using the login histories, the debug logs, and the application logs of that system. And then we identified the root cause that this one single object is trying to keep on syncing, and once we have disabled it and set the time frame, I think that has solve the issue. So the challenge lies in our approach and our analysis. So where does the problem would have been lying? So it's just not that if it is only a CRM, we would be working on only one tool. We would also be needing to work with various number of tools, since the business needs cannot be satisfied with a single tool. So we need to integrate, we need to identify what are those tools. So yeah, um, things hope it makes sense. Kapil has raised his hand again. Yeah. uh,
Hi, Lakshman. Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, Salesforce provide any suggestion that we have to use Selenium only, or nowadays
No, no.
different. Okay, so because
Yeah.
nowadays there is Cypress is there.
Yeah. See, they don't recommend. They have nothing called as, it's an open source. What and all the tools which you are using, there are even tools with licenses. So they don't recommend anything. Even people are using Tosca, they're using Cypress, they're using Selenium. So there is no kind of a hardcore recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
It,
One more
it all
question.
depends on your business. Please. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a QA, as a Salesforce QA, how much functionality knowledge is important? Because right now I'm seeing that there is a sales, marketing, after that service cloud is there. So as a
Yeah.
QA, how much functionality means there is any means as a QA person, they
uh,
need to understand first the functionality, right? So
yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So how much knowledge
It,
is
it would
important?
it would
Means
be better if you have a fair knowledge of these terms, at least on the CR, at least on the CRM. If not the hardcore sales or marketing life cycle, it would be better to have. But if not, you will pick it up on the go. It is not like it cannot be picked up. Yes, you will pick up the domain and the functional knowledge on the go. It's not that you need to be aware and then you can enter into the job market. You can pick it up on the go if you have the basics set right, and you know the opportunity life cycle management or the lead path cycle, how the business runs. I think that would make up a fair head start for you.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Moving on to the next slide. So yeah, I think we have gone through this. What do we do? What was the roles of QA and kinds of testing they do? You obviously, as anybody who is into them, they will test the developments in the current sprint and existing functionality. After that is what I was saying earlier. After every major release, you do a round of regression. So what do? You maintain the current test suite. You make sure that your test cases are comprehensive as an experienced QA, and you see that different factors are being involved in that, so that you give an all-round testing performance. And yeah and you, as a major factor, would be identify areas that can be automated. Once a module has been stabilized, you can automate that. And um, and the main point which I would like to share is, to be a better QA, you need to be a good admin. You need to be a strong admin. If you are strong in your as an administrator, you know the tools available. You know what do you have on hand to make yourself much more stronger, so that your testing. And even it is even better if you can have a bit of a coding knowledge, since most of the automation guys have it, so that it will be useful for you using your unit testing, so that you can better understand the business. As a QA, you need to understand the business and the tool together for better deliverability, so that you deliver your goods. uh, and coming to the last thing, what would be your kinds of testing you perform. I have just named a few. I have put dot at the end because it always depends. It always depends on the project, on the tool, the kind of integration, the kind of cloud, the edition you're working on, the number of users, and your and the requirement of your sales or your Salesforce users. So there are plenty of factors. So on a broad level, I have put functional testing, unit testing, automated testing, if your org has the budget and the resources, because most of the bigger organizations have it. And if you're not in such kind of a company, and they only go with manual. And the deployments, we have deployments between the our sandbox where we have tested the changes would be moved. And at times you also may to need to take care of the deployment. Depending on the company, you will be using ant or chain sets or different types of deployment tools to make sure all these components get deployed into your SIT, UAT, pre-prod or production, wherever. So that's one thing. And next thing finally comes your security part. So how do you make sure that what level of access is given, how it is given, they don't affect the business functionality. So yeah, so that's it. So and what's the road ahead? The road ahead, yes, this Salesforce has got a huge demand. If you can see out the jobs in the market, majority of them would be for the developer, consultant, and admin roles. Yes, we also have QA roles coming there in the open market. And if at all you're well versed and you're happy with the environment, you can upgrade yourself from a QA to an admin, and from there to a consultant or a developer, depending on your skills and liking for coding, and being helping the business, being a functional consultant or being a technical architect. You can take it in your way. You can take it in your stride. So this may be just a starting point for you. So and what may excite you? What may excite you? Because everybody is hearing the buzzwords today: data science, analytics, machine learning, everything. So yes, so I have brought this for you over here: Salesforce for forecasting and analytics. As I mentioned earlier in my earlier slides, this was regarding the Einstein analytics, and which does the forecasting and predictive analysis. So this is integrated with your CRM, and you can work on it. Einstein Analytics licenses are pretty expensive, so only the bigger companies would be able to afford it. So yeah, that's I'm telling you. And if you are a kind of a geek who loves to experiment and have a knack for the technology, you have even Salesforce, which can be integrated with your IoT devices. So and as for any data crunching guy, who wants to project it to his higher management or their higher management, we have data visualization tools called Tableau, which is bought by Salesforce. So and like any other software, Salesforce has mobile, is very much strong on mobile. They have different apps on mobile. Hello. They have different apps on mobile, right from the way we access CRMs to for the specific admin apps to authenticator apps for multi-factor authentications. And Salesforce, as I said, the biggest challenge major draw for customers is the integrations. Challenge for us, since we were learning and it's been new for us. But yes, there are guidelines which are already mentioned beforehand, and which would make it a cakewalk for you sometimes. So yeah, and there are many other things. So you can keep on. So if at all you're new to Salesforce, where to get started? Trailhead is your official learning partner from Salesforce. You have the Salesforce Help and Success community. You have YouTube. You have n number of videos. You have a lot of backdrop. Very good YouTubers. Um, and you have blogs like SFDC Panther, SFDC Stop, Salesforce Ben, and you have plenty of online courses on Udemy, Pluralsight. You name it, you have it. So it all depends on where you want to get started, where do you want it to go, how do you want to reap the benefits of this ecosystem, how do you want it to make in your career, or take this as a career. And if it is a one-off project, fine, but if you're going to take it in long term, I would suggest you to take it pretty seriously, as this would propel you to the next league, into a bigger league of this thing. So this is what my next slide says. So why, how, once you are a QA and you know the ecosystem, you can be an administrator, then a developer, architect. You know, if you're technically inclined, if not, you can be a BA, you can be a sales manager, you can be a marketing. If you have a knack for sales and marketing and bigger organizations to drive the sales of a company, yes, you can. And once you have a technical backdrop of how Salesforce functions, you can make a mark. So uh, and on top of this, you have integrations. If we have CPQ integration, it's nothing but your configure price code. Once a customer comes into Salesforce, and if the CPQ is integrated, how a code would be generated, what would be the costing, um, what would be the pricing. So how a quote is generated, how a contract is being generated, how the customer is being to made upsell, cross sell, or get a new customer on board. So it's a whole lot of what I've said is just the tip of the iceberg, and there are plenty of options. I just wanted this session to be an eye opener, so that you understand what the potential in the market is, how you can be making an impact, how this could make you to reach farther spaces, further heights. Yeah, and yes, the floor is open for questions. I'm ready to take questions.
Uh, Hi, sir. This is Sandeep. Uh, I want to ask, like, a Salesforce is a platform, right? CRM tool. So, if a fresher who want to is going into a testing, like Salesforce testing, so what are the guidance? Like, where is we will learn?
Okay. First of all, if you wanted to move as a Salesforce QA as a fresher, you need to first and foremost is you need to get the basics of your manual testing right. And second thing is you need to understand the ecosystem well. That is where trailhead comes into play. You need to understand what is CRM, what do they do, or how this application works, how they are being connected, how they are being integration comes at a later stage. But first of all, you need to work on this ecosystem and know the ecosystem, and then work on your manual testing, and then try to write possible test cases or anything which would on your mini projects which would make sense to the recruiter. I think that would be the first stage in for you to get started.
Okay. So, as I am in a automation testing right now, so if
Okay.
is there any platform like a Salesforce, a project
Yeah.
where we
Yes,
can
yes, you
test?
can. Please, where we can get.
Like, is there any platform where we can test the Salesforce environment or like any
Yes,
clone
you
type?
can. Yeah, you can go to developer.sandbox. You can create your own developer sandbox. You can start utilizing or running your code there. You can automate it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Your own test. It is free. you can
Mhm.
you can first know the environment. Once you know the environment, yes, you can go ahead and play around with it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshman. Really, it's a wonderful session to get to understand the Salesforce, how Salesforce working in that market. So the standout part. It's really good to see the career path as well. So hope it will going to be very detailed in the upcoming session from your side. So once again, thanks for your time and sharing your knowledge to the community.
Sure. Thank you very much
Yeah,
for
guys, if
spending
you
the
have,
evening with me.
yeah, yes,
Dash, can I ask a couple of questions?
yeah, guys,
Please.
the floor is open. So please raise your concerns. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Dash. It's Shiva here. Lakshman, a few questions
Yeah.
regarding the slides which you mentioned. And yes,
Yeah.
as Prasanna Das was saying, yeah, yes, you have given a clear picture. What are the possibilities and what are the upcoming things with regarding the Salesforce? Okay, and I'm aware that MuleSoft is also an integrated part of the Salesforce now.
Yeah.
So yes, coming to my question, like as you already mentioned, that with regarding if anyone want to progress in the career in the Salesforce, okay,
Okay.
certifications cannot be matter much, but sometimes it is also recommended
Yes.
to
Yes.
any person in the field of industry, right?
True.
It's
True.
kind of skill sets which we can project ourselves. But when it comes
Yes.
to the
Yes.
Salesforce,
Yes.
predominantly for the software testers, there are only limited kind of certifications what we have
True.
usually.
True.
But when it comes to the Salesforce, okay,
Yeah.
that is also very limited because it's only developer side of it, right? There is
True. True. Very true. Yeah.
towards an QA side of it should showcase that we are a software testers, to showcase
Yeah.
that we are having the skills in the Salesforce. There's no
Yes.
particular kind of
Yes.
certification. So how would you address and how would you guide people to take any certification in the Salesforce? Which would be the first one to do so, as we are a software testers?
All right. The first one for you to do is, apart from your functional QA uh, 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 certification, is your Salesforce admin. All right. Once you are a Salesforce admin, then you can say that yes, you have. Then you can do the Salesforce advanced administrator, so that it means you knows the ecosystem much better. And even when if you are playing a bigger role, then you can even take on the Salesforce Sales Cloud consultant. So I think that would be the best path. I'm not sure whether, because there is a cost involved. Salesforce certifications are expensive, around $250. So yeah, you can do these things, and with your technical acumen on the testing part, if you combine this, that would be a sure shot strategy.
Okay. And one other thing, Lakshman, with
Yeah.
regarding this roadmap, if you can, in incoming sessions, if you can give us that
Yeah.
roadmap, which is
Sure.
the first
Sure.
certification and which could the roadmap with regarding
Yeah.
the certification, that would be really helpful.
Sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like if you can emphasize more on the challenges, what are the challenges you really face with regarding the automation, with regarding the integration, and
Okay.
show us how you resolved it, like show in the sense,
Sure.
at least on theoretical side. Maybe
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
don't know because of the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
license issues or the
Yeah. Yeah.
like those issues.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't show the application, but in
There would
case
be
you can,
compliance thing, but
yes,
yes,
if
I
you can
would
show
try
us a
to.
screenshot, yeah, if you
Yeah.
can show us a screenshot with regarding how you resolved it, that would be really helpful. And yeah, I think that's from my side, I feel. Yeah.
All right. All right. Sure, sure. Let us maybe this session was planned for giving an overview and the road ahead. So we have planned it in such a fashion. But yeah, next time we'll take it much more deeper.
Thanks, Lakshman.
Thank you, Shiva, and thank you, Lakshman, for explaining and addressing this query. Okay, guys, any open query? So please find the feedback form link in our chat box, so that we are eagerly looking for your feedback and comments to improve the session quality and to get address your queries for the upcoming session. So feel free to share your thoughts and comments using the link. You can find that our webpage where I have mentioned earlier, and then I have shared Mr. Lakshman LinkedIn profile. So please connect with him and raise a concern if you have anything. So he is always a helping mindset. So he will be surely replying back for all your queries. Okay, guys. So yeah, thank you, Lakshman, once again.
Thank you, Preston.
Okay, great. Thanks to you, everyone. Have a nice weekend. See you again in the next session. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Happy weekend,
Thank
sir.
you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Bye-bye.